Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going over the best VR games by genre, but we're doing things a little bit differently. Now, I update this video every 6 months, and I've noticed it's starting to get a bit repetitive. There's no need to hear that Astrobot and Moss are the best VR platformers, because you've been hearing that year after year. So this video will only include games that came out in 2023, plus I'll give you some stuff to look forward to in the near future. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor Kiwi Design. Have you added about 15 accessories to your Quest 2 and it no longer fits in the official case? Well, don't worry because Kiwi has you covered. Kiwi's brand new carrying case guarantees to fit 9 accessories. There's pockets for extra cables, an ample amount of padding and a hard exterior to help protect your device, plus a nice sleek black water resistant design. There's a link in the description to their website, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Now, all game platforms will be listed on screen throughout the entire video. If you enjoy the work and the effort it took to make this, go ahead and give this a thumbs up, and if I miss any best of titles, go ahead and let me know what they are in the comments. But let's get started with story-driven experiences. Okay, so the newcomer to this genre is Horizon Call of the Mountain on the PlayStation VR2. You'll get to experience the stunningly beautiful, lore-filled world of Horizon. There's beautiful vistas around every corner, including robotic, alligator-filled lake rides, and hanging from the peak of snow-covered mountains. There's also plenty of epic moments, some of the coolest-looking creatures you'll ever see in VR, and plenty of fast-paced combat. The overall storyline itself is a lot more grounded and personal than the grand experience you get from Horizon Zero Dawn. It's an excellent contrast, especially if you're already a fan of this world. Now, in terms of story-driven experiences that you should be on the lookout for, an updated version of The Wanderer is on the way. The Wanderer Fragments of Fate is not only headed to new platforms, but it's also an updated version of this already amazing game. You'll be time traveling through alternate versions of history in this epic puzzle-filled journey. Everything from the graphics, storyline, and amount of emotion that this title evokes is absolutely fantastic. So if you enjoy challenging puzzles and deep storytelling, make sure to have this game on your wish list. Now moving into our next genre, the first-person shooter, we have Vertigo 2. This game is basically Half-Life meets Rick and Morty. There's a huge array of varying content, locations, unexpected moments, weapons, and enemies. The combat is top-notch, the upgrade system encourages additional exploration, and it's definitely worth it because you never know what you'll find around each corner of this game. The attention to detail in this title is absolutely amazing, and the game is clearly a labor of love that outshines most VR titles releasing these days. And speaking of shining, Hubris was another graphically intense game that released this year. It's easily featured some of the best visuals I've seen since Half-Life Alyx, with some incredibly immersive environments. Now, not only will you be swimming, climbing, and platforming your way through this beautiful world, but you'll also be battling it out against an array of alien creatures. Now, while there's a few things that hold this game back from being Half-Life Alyx quality, it's still an overall great experience from beginning to end. Now, as we look to the future for new releases, I'm eagerly awaiting the VR release of the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, I assume I don't need to spend much time on this game, as the original is already a beloved title, and it doesn't exactly fit in the first-person shooter genre, so maybe I'll discuss this again when we get to horror games. But before that, we have co-op shooters. Crossfire Sierra Squad recently released, and while it didn't quite live up to the hype for me, it's still extremely fun to play in co-op. With up to 50 separate 2-player missions, plus an additional 4-person horde mode, there's plenty of content to blast through with your friends. The large variety of weapons all feel great, and the graphics are absolutely fantastic. Now, if you're on the lookout for a new co-op shooter, I highly recommend you check out Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. If you are looking for more of a story-driven or fun-filled version of After the Fall, well then this is most likely your title. Strap on your proton pack, grab a few extra gadgets, and join 3 of your friends as you go ghost hunting across multiple different missions. Now, the Ghostbuster series is known for its humor, and I really hope that comes across here. But if you prefer competition, our next genre is the PvP shooters. It goes without saying that Ghost of Tabor is the new king of the hill. This brand new extraction shooter has been extremely successful and currently has more PC players than Pavlov. The risk versus reward gameplay loop of jumping into a world, scrounging for supplies, and treating everyone with suspicion is highly addictive. This is basically VR's escape from Tarkov, and players are eating it up. Now, if you prefer a bit more strategy, Breachers delivers some Rainbow Six Siege style combat. You'll load up some specialized gear for either defending or attacking, and teamwork will be vital to your success. It's an excellent change of pace from other VR shooters out there, and it comes from the same studio that delivered Hyperdash, one of my favorite PvP shooters. Now, if you're looking for something different, the Call of Duty style shooter Alvo is coming to the PlayStation VR 2 in the near future. Plus, there's also a free-to-play hero shooter called X8 currently in beta. But let's move on to other competitive titles that don't involve shooting each other in the face. While we really didn't get anything brand new for 2023 in this category, the story-driven boxing title Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition did release, which includes some intense online PvP action. But even better than that, VR's version of Mortal Kombat, Dragon Fist VR, has entered multiplayer beta testing. This game is absolutely crazy and allows you to use full motion body tracking to beat the crap out of your enemies. Well, now the most requested feature, online multiplayer, is currently free to play in beta testing. Now, looking into the future, I can't wait for the tabletop strategy that Demio Battles will offer up. If you enjoy that highly complex turn-based combat and want to take down your enemy in a battle of wits and RNG, well then this is the game for you. Demio already delivers an amazing co-op tabletop experience, and I'm curious to see what it'll feel like in PvP mode. Another exciting upcoming title is Glassbreaker's Champion of Moss. This is a unique VR take on the MOBA genre. You'll control 3 specialized characters from the Moss universe and go toe-to-toe with an enemy reader and his champions. I already played some early betas of this title and it shows a ton of promise. But if you have no interest in PvP, let's move into the single-player RPG genre. Now we're in a category that's sorely underrepresented in VR, but we did get Undead Citadel this year. Unlike most games that just give us a fighting arena, plus some RPG elements, Undead Citadel is a full story-driven experience. You'll wander your way into a ravaged city, only to find it overrun with the undead, and you'll have to battle your way back out. The title features physics-based combat, a large array of weapons with unique properties, plus some excellent gritty style graphics. So if you're looking for a story-driven, dark-themed RPG, go check out Undead Citadel. But releasing later this year is one of my most anticipated games, Asgard's Wrath 2, a 60+ hour RPG experience that has us battling Loki amongst other gods, embodying a large array of different warriors, each with their own unique skills and abilities, plus high-quality physics-based combat and deep storytelling is what I'm expecting from this title. The original Asgard's Wrath remains one of my favorite VR games of all time, and I would be absolutely crushed if this title fails to deliver. Now, if you wanted to bring some friends along for your RPG experience, we have Dark Sword Battle Eternity. This is really a bit more of a mashup between roguelike, RPG, and battle arena. You're on an elevator ride of doom featuring increasingly more difficult enemies. The combat is highly strategic, forcing you to quickly switch between melee and ranged weapons, plus also blocking and countering attacks. Between levels, you'll receive random power-ups, and then you'll eventually make your way to a boss who immediately spanks you. Luckily though, in between each death, you can unlock and level up new weapons. It's a very fun yet grindy experience, which can be a great time suck with one of your friends. Now if you're looking for more of a dungeon crawl experience, Dungeons of Eternity is coming in the near future. Travel through and explore dangerous environments, battling an array of different creatures, while utilizing ranged and melee weapons plus some spells. This game looks like a Quest version of one of my favorite co-op RPGs, Legendary Tales. I just hope it delivers great combat and a full RPG leveling system. Now, if 2 to 4 person co-op isn't enough for you, we have the MMO genre. Nothing fully released in 2023 for this category, but the fantasy experience Elysia is now in beta, and it reminds me of a mix of the classic MMO title EverQuest with a little splash of World of Warcraft. Now, I have played this game through various states of the beta, but it's been quite some time now, but it's always showed a lot of promise throughout the entire experience. If you're looking for a new VR MMO, definitely go check this game out. Now, our next 2 genres really haven't seen any updates in 2023, and that's both sandbox games and wave shooters. Probably the most recent and biggest sandbox title to release was Bone Lab, but that actually came out in 2022. Now, looking forward into the future, I unfortunately don't have any sandbox titles on my list. Maybe something will sneak in and surprise us, but if you're looking for a new VR sandbox title in the immediate future, you may be out of luck. Now, we also didn't get any new wave shooters, which is okay because it's an older genre, which was initially overrepresented in VR. Now, if you are dying for a new game in this category, Gazlers is releasing in the near future. It's a really fun on-rail shooter that has you riding in the back and defending a train. Creatures called Gazlers will be coming at you from every direction, using a wide variety of weapons and vehicles. There's multiple different unique levels, and a full upgrade system to help you along the way. I played through an early demo of this game and had an absolute blast, so I'm looking forward to the full release. Now, when it comes to the platforming genre, we got a new experience called Toss. Toss has you literally monkeying around as you swing yourself through vibrant environments in the sky, collecting bananas along the way. I'm yet to play this title, but it looks like some fast-paced fun. Now, upcoming platformers include Max Mustard, which is from the same developers that gave us Richie's Plank experience. This title looks very much Astrobot Rescue Mission inspired. Not only are you controlling Max, but your VR avatar is also interacting with the world. Now on the topic of Astrobot, the rumor mill is also stating that PlayStation VR2 should eventually be getting a new Astrobot. There's no details, and again this is just a rumor, but it seems like a no-brainer to me. Now moving into the open world genre, this is another category that didn't really give us anything new. I'm happy to see No Man's Sky make its way onto the PlayStation VR2, and its most recent updates have made this game even better than ever, but at this point No Man's Sky is a pretty old title, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Now the rhythm genre also failed to deliver any new games, but of course all the big names in that category, including Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, and Synth Riders, all gave us plenty of new updates to experience in 2023. Now when it comes to puzzle titles, you shouldn't be disappointed, because we just received the absolutely amazing spy-themed escape room I Expected to Die 3, Cog in the Machine. As this is the third installment in the series, you pretty much know what you're in for, but the production value and quality of puzzles just seems to get better and better over time. Now if you wanted more storyline or unique mechanics in your puzzle game, we got another Fisherman's Tale. This sequel to the beloved original title definitely did not disappoint. You'll be forced to dismember yourself, not only to reach new areas, but also view the world from a new angle. It's a surprisingly trippy experience, filled with plenty of fun and quirky moments. Now in terms of upcoming puzzle titles, I'll once again mention Wanderer Fragments of Fate. I already placed this title in story-driven experiences, but this journey across time also features some truly head-scratching puzzles. Now if you want to replace puzzles with scares, the horror genre was pretty stacked in 2023. We got the story-driven Resident Evil-inspired title Propagation Paradise Hotel, which features a great combination of creepy exploration, truly terrifying moments, and some monster-killing action. While the early pacing was a bit off in my experience, it's still a fantastic experience for horror fans. Now if you want a similar experience but with more action, we had Resident Evil Village and Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. In Resident Evil, you'll battle against both werewolf and vampire-like creatures while traversing a creepy village and Victorian-style castle. It's filled with some Resident Evil-style WTF moments, and overall it's extremely creepy. Now Saints and Sinners on the other hand drops you into a zombie-infested world, requires you to scavenge for survival, and gives you more storyline and exploration freedom. In many ways it feels like a DLC of the original game, but that melee combat is still top notch. Now if you're looking for a co-op horror game, I highly recommend Inverse. This is basically VR's Dead by Daylight, which features 4v1 asymmetrical combat. 4 players will take on the role of agents, who will need to hide from the monster and activate some generators before they can fight back, all while someone else plays as the null creature and eagerly hunts them down. This game is absolutely terrifying and a blast to play. Now coming up in the near future, Phasmophobia is making its way onto PlayStation VR2, and I'm extremely happy PlayStation owners will get to experience this title. It's the ultimate ghost hunting experience that's highly addictive and equally terrifying and fun. I've truly never enjoyed something so much while also peeing my pants. Now if you're a survival game fan, 2023 hasn't done much for you, unless of course you're on the PlayStation VR2, which received ports for both Song in the Smoke and Green Hell. In both games you'll be lost in a jungle, forced to scavenge for food and craft tools, but Green Hell features a little bit more of a narrative, indigenous cannibals, and a more gritty and realistic narrative, while Song in the Smoke will have more emphasis on your interaction with animals. Now a survival game to look out for in the near future is Neolithic Dawn. You'll get to experience the life of a hunter-gatherer back in 10,000 BC. So prepare to utilize some primitive weapons and interact with some even more primitive creatures. I'm definitely intrigued by the setting, and another little bonus here is that this game will include online co-op. Now let's move into one of VR's most stacked genres, and that's the roguelite. One of my favorite VR games to release in 2023 was Go Signal: A Solaris Story. Take control of a spaceship trapped in a time loop and journey deeper and deeper into hostile space. Combat is surprisingly strategic with some epic boss fights, and you never know what exactly you're going to experience on each run. When death eventually catches up to you, the time loop will kick in, but you will get to bring some permanent upgrades into your future runs. The second I turned this game on, I was addicted, fully draining my Quest 2 battery twice in a row. So if you enjoy both roguelites and space games, this is a no-brainer. But if you prefer first-person shooters and roguelites, you have to try Synapse. This game basically makes you feel like a machine gun-toting Sith Lord in a flashy, neon-stylized world. The combat is extremely fast-paced, throwing enemies around never gets old, and the powers you unlock over time just get better and better. The randomized power-ups you receive continue to make each run feel unique, and I was even intrigued by this game's storyline, which unfortunately doesn't go far enough. Now another roguelite that released that people loved was the Light Brigade. This was a unique combination of World War II style enemies and weapons, plus a fantasy theme of light versus darkness. Both the combat and spell-like abilities are awesome, I truly enjoyed the unique boss fights, and the overall aesthetics were fantastic in VR. This game also just recently received a new update, which made it even better. But speaking of titles with unique aesthetics, the upcoming game Underdog looks absolutely fantastic. You'll be battling your way through the world of underground robotics fighting, attempting to build your mech into an unstoppable machine, and take on the role of champion. There's not a ton of information on this title just yet, but I absolutely love the graphical style, and I hope they pull off some high quality combat. And combat brings us right to the fighting arena genre. Not much happened here in 2023, but the excellent physics-based fighting game Swordsman VR has made its way onto the Quest 2. Not only will you be fighting your way through multiple different historical warriors, there's also multiple different fantasy-themed enemies, plus a full upgrade system and a large array of weapons and armor. Swordsman VR has come an extremely long way, and it's easily one of the best arena fighting game titles available now. But if you want more violence and more mobility, Hellsweeper VR is coming in the near future. From the same developers that gave us Sorrento, they're pushing combat to the max, with plenty of made-for-VR mechanics and brutal demon fighting combat. Go ahead and destroy the demons of hell with both melee weapons, guns, and an array of different spells. I'm definitely looking forward to some mature-themed combat. But if that's too much gore for you, let's move into the sports category. For the beer pong fans out there, we have Bounce Shot. This is from the developers of 11 Table Tennis, so you know the physics are spot on. There's not much more to say about this game. Just go ahead and join some people online and get into some beer pong action, but unfortunately it's BYOB. Now looking forward to sports titles, unfortunately I don't have much to report, but you can expect that Walkabout Mini Golf will continue to pump out updates. Now moving into the sim racing category, we got Gran Turismo 7. This is easily one of VR's best racing games. Stunning graphics, realistic physics, a huge array of cars to unlock and upgrade, plus countless hours of fun to be had. As someone who's not really a sim or racing fan, I still really enjoyed playing this game. And now today's final category is the social applications, which gave us the VR version of Roblox. While it's currently in beta with a lot of work needed, there's a huge array of new content to experience in VR. There's finally another title out there that could rival something like Rec Room, as long as it continues to get some VR-focused updates. While this isn't exactly my style and I don't plan to spend much time in Roblox, this was definitely a big deal for the overall VR industry. And that right there was the updated list for 2023. Now, if I missed any games or categories, please let me know what they were down in the comments right now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing.